What's going on, y'all? Back at with another one. Now, I was really gonna get into how good the Brooklyn Nets looked last night against Milwaukee, but Kyrie Irving came out and said something, and I think that's an even bigger thing to talk about. So I kind of wanted to speak on that, and you know, to dig into what he was saying. Matter of fact, before I even get into that, I kind of was just thinking about the things that he's been dealing with over the years, the things of what he said, and to get into what I already knew about him, I think he deals with mental health. I honestly think that he deals with anxiety and depression. Like, have you guys heard about all the stories that when he was in Cleveland, how like he'll go 2, 3, 4 weeks speaking to his teammates, saying what's up to everybody, and then a week or so later, he'll go without speaking to anybody. Like, he won't speak to nobody. And 3 years ago, I would have never even thought about what that was. You know, after dealing with friends who have anxiety, dealing with close people that I know who deal with depression and other types of mental health, I kind of just picked up on, like, that's what Kyrie Irving deals with. You know, and that's just another sign of anxiety. Like, you really don't know what's going on with you mentally. Like, you just hope that you just eventually snap out of it. And the people around you are not going to understand, even if you just sit down and tell them. Like, it's not really much advice that anybody around you can really give you, because they don't know what it's like. So, digging on what he said, you know, it was very clear to me that, you know, after what happened in DC, I felt like he was thinking a lot in terms of what he felt like he can do to help his people, what he felt like he can do to help his community. And it's very kind-hearted of him. At the same time, I felt like he chose the wrong battle to fight. And what I mean is, you know, like, he took time off from his teammates. You know, he took time away from the team to go and sit in virtual meetings. He went and bought a house for George Floyd's family. And then, in the meantime, you know, he spent time with his sister at her birthday. And although that looks bad, like everybody think that looks bad on him, like, in actuality, that was his happy place. Like, that was a place where he just wanted to be around family, honestly. And even though he still had to follow rules, because at the end of the day, he plays in the NBA, and there are certain protocols that you have to follow in order to be with the team. But, you know, when you deal with mental health issues, sometimes your mind is racing a mile a minute, and you're not even gonna think about half the things that you're doing until you realize it. Like you're not gonna really know everything that you're doing. So, you know, piggybacking on what, you know, a lot of things that he was saying, you know, he felt like, you know, it's really interesting to see him come back the day before the inauguration. I think that's what it is, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, Kyrie Irving was just dealing with some issues that involved him not being on the court. And I really didn't really feel everybody telling him that he should retire and his heart's not in it anymore. I never got that notion. And I'm sure that everybody saw years ago when Kevin Love came out and spoke about his mental health. DeMar DeRozan spoke about his mental health. Paul George came out during the bubble and spoke about his mental health. A lot of people go through those type of things that a lot of people are not going to understand until they come out and say it. And even then, they might not believe what they tell us. But at the end of the day, we don't know what they deal with on a daily. Like, the money that you give ain't gonna necessarily buy you the piece that you want. You know what I'm saying? Money don't change nobody's. The money ain't gonna change nobody's personality. Matter of fact, it's gonna make you more of the person you already are. And no matter how much money Kyrie Irving has, it's never gonna be enough to really fully satisfy you. Like, it's not going to be full enough to satisfy anybody, because at the end of the day, you have people that count on you, and a lot of times that could be a big burden to bear. And Kyrie Irving needed to step away from the court to really think about his things, to really think about things, to really clear his head. And you know what? I think that it was a good thing that he did. He couldn't think of two things at once. So I felt that it was, me thinking about it all now, I think it was the most healthy thing to do. I think that it was appreciative that, that a lot of people may not have seen what he was going through. And now that he spoke out about it and just picking up off things, I know exactly what he was going through. And I'm just glad that Kyrie Irving is okay to really talk about it. It doesn't really absolve him from not telling, his coaches or his team owner. But at the end of the day, if the people around him are supportive of him and what he's doing, then that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for. But now that he's back, things are going to get very interesting in the conference. It's going to get very interesting with the team. I wonder what the rotation is going to look like. I'm pretty sure Joe Harris is going to come off the bench now, or Jeff Green. One of those two coming off the bench.